a review hearing as it relates to Alexia Rowe and Trevon Rowe. There are also some outstanding issues as it relates to two children of Darnell Edwards, who is not a respondent, but his children are still under the jurisdiction of the court. And I look forward to the updates. I would also note we did have a bench conference, and the attorneys are welcome to make any comments that they may wish to about that after appearances.
Lee Heiss, lawyer guardian ad litem.
Ms. Dr. Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Madrid.
Francesca Madrid, foster care worker from Fostering Solutions.
Tamiris Hennigan on behalf of Darnell Edwards.
Good afternoon, Ariel Berger here on behalf of Father Trevon Rowe.
And Mr. Rowe, do we have you with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Michael McFarland representing Alexia Rowe. Ms. Rowe, please introduce yourself.
I'm Alexia Rowe.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. As it relates to your claim, Ms. Hennigan, would you like to update the record?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I was just able to contact my client. He was at work today. He answered the phone when I called PFC and he indicated that he is leaving right then. So I'm expecting him here within the next 5 minutes.
Thank you. Were you able to meet with him as ordered at the last hearing?
Your Honor, I was not able to meet with him. He scheduled an appointment to meet with me on October 27th so I could guide him through completing the final form that he needed. And he did not come to his appointment with me on the 27th. And I had not heard from him since until I just spoke with him.
Thank you. I would note the order issued October 24th does indicate the adjournment was to allow Darnell Edwards to complete custody paperwork and file the same, and that must be done by 11/8/23 or show cause will be held. So we'll re-advise him of that when he gets here and go from there. Any other comments about the sidebar while we're at it, Ms. Hennigan?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Berger?
Nothing to add, Judge. Thank you.
Ms. Thomas?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Ms. Heiss?
No, thank you.
All right, here we are over at Ms. Heiss. Why don't we have your report, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. I visited with the children face to face. The older two were in the care of their father, where they've been stabilized. Some nice things to report is that the little boy, Jay, well, he doesn't have the right last name yet. Anyway, I hope to get to that because we've got one child stuck with the wrong name. Anyway, last name. He participated in an honors choir, and boy, did he do a great job. So it's really good to see that the family has made a commitment to getting him to those practices, that his grades were good enough, his behavior was good enough to do that. So the children's needs seem to be met at that placement. Custody. If the dad were to establish custody, that would reduce the risk of harm to those children, where maybe we could let go of jurisdiction, but dad hasn't been able to accomplish that. The little two, I visited them at their grandmother's house. Now, Mr. Rowe is in Florida, and he has been coming up to visit his daughter. He's been it's all going very well. He's doing everything that I can think of that he could do. Danny is very happy to know her dad and feel special that she might get to go live there. I don't know if the agency is thinking maybe over the Christmas holidays a transition would be made, but that leaves the littlest one with her current placement, where she is very well bonded, very the child-centered home, and the older children are visiting the younger children from time to time, and they all miss their mother, but they know that she has work to do and that she's not going to be available to them for the time being, and other folks are meeting their needs at this time. Thank you.
Testimony today, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. If Ms. Madrid can be sworn.
Ms. Madrid, come on.
Thank you. Ms. Madrid, approximately 3 weeks ago, you provided a court report and had some attachments on that court report. And from your cover page, looks like they were just the case service plans. Is that correct? Are there any, since the last hearing, we were also waiting to hear back from ICPC, and I think May results, if I'm not mistaken, or if my notes are correct. Do we have any of those documents yet?
No, the last update that I received on 10/26 from ICPC was that it was emailed to Florida on September 1st, and that Florida has still not yet confirmed that they have received the request. And that ICPC informed me that it's not uncommon for Florida to take this long.
And then as it relates to DNA,
Yes, so the child was tested on September 22nd, and dad was tested on September 5th. I did ask for an update after a court hearing on 10/24, and the results were still not in. DHS is helping me with that and trying to get the results. As of most recently this morning, I still had nothing.
okay, thank you so much for that update. At this time, so it's a little bifurcated. We have one dad under jurisdiction and one dad not. So as relates to the two younger children, with Mr. Rowe is their legal father, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the risk of harm to them being returned to his care and custody today?
The only thing I'm waiting on is the ICPC request. I would say currently he is compliant with his case service plan and there is not a risk of harm.
And at this time, what is the risk of harm to the children being returned to mom?
Exposure to parental substance abuse, homelessness, and improper supervision.
And are those the same conditions that caused the children to come into care, to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. What services has the agency offered, or what reasonable efforts have been made during this review period to assist the family in reunification?
Yes, I have provided Ms. Rowe with forensic fluids, drug screen availability, McCullis Vargas McCullis Vargas and Associates referral, Catholic Charities referral, LDC drug screen referral, housing help, Lenawee referral, Catholic Charities referral for Ms. Rowe, transportation assistance, bus tokens, medical and dental care for all of the children, supervised parenting time prior to her being incarcerated, relative placement, transportation for the children, and non-respondent parental home assistance.
Thank you for that. And as it relates to, so the last review period would be from July 24th, it looks like, until today. How would you describe the parents' compliance with and benefit from the case service plan?
For Ms. Rowe, she has not been compliant with her case service plan. And then for Mr. Rowe, he has been compliant in all parts of his case service plan.
Miss Heiss, in her report, she indicated that Mr. Rowe is coming to visit the children, or one of them, it seems like. Can you just give us a little more information on that? Like how, if you are aware of the frequency or the duration or anything like that, or if there's any concerns?
Yes, he's visited on a monthly basis since our last hearing. We moved to unsupervised visits. There haven't been any concerns. He does take both of the girls, not just D. And they have, shared time in the community. They have gone to the orchard. They do a lot of normacy activities. They have spent time with his family. And again, no concerns of the relative caregiver or anyone else.
Do you believe that the children, both sets, are in the least restrictive environment to ensure their safety at this time?
Yes.
Do you have any concerns about the older children being with their father?
Besides the inconsistent communication that I've had, no.
All of their needs are being met?
Yes.
Is there anything that you would like to bring to the court's attention today?
Not at this time, no.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions and move to admit the court report with the attached case service plans. Thank you.
Thank you. Items received. Questions, Mr. McFarland?
What's my client's earliest release date from jail, if you know?
I actually don't know. The last time we were here, she was given a PR bond and then she went back to jail in 10/27. I know that she violated her bond conditions, so that was the last update that I got from her probation officer.
Are there any services from her case service plan that can be offered for her while she's incarcerated?
I can definitely look into the services that they provide for her. I'm not familiar off the top of my head.
Am I correct in that our jail does not allow child visitation?
That is correct.
When Ms. Rose released, should she immediately meet with you if she wishes to progress on her case service plan?
Yes,
Now, at that point, you'll point her in the direction of what's most relevant and what's most urgent to complete. Would I be correct?
yes.
Or her visitations resume?
Depending on the court's decision today.
Are you asking that she not have visitations from here on out?
We did ask for suspended visitation. Depending.
And is that because she's incarcerated?
That is mainly because of that and because of her lack of participation in her services and drug screens.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Madrid, is there any reason we can't order or ask the court to order FRP services for my client?
There's no reason we can't.
Do you know if that is able to be offered to him because he's so far away?
I am not familiar with that, but I can look into it and see if they would be willing to provide that in Florida.
Okay. Is there a specific policy requiring approval of the ICPC study before we can ask for reunification?
I also am not familiar if there needs to be approval. That is just my understanding from our last ICPC request.
Okay. Okay. And at this point, you have no reason to, I guess, suspect that there would be any risk of harm for the children if they were reunified with my client?
No.
Thank you. No further questions.
Ms. Hannigan?
Any questions?
All right, the record should reflect we have been joined by Mr. Darnell Edwards.
Oh.
Sorry.
Ms. Hannigan, did you need to talk with him?
It's probably briefly, Your Honor.
All right, feel free to step into the hallway. Do that. Ms. Heiss, did you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do. Now would be the time?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Madrid, if there is no risk of harm, then the children can be, I'm sorry, Danny would be cleared to move to Florida today?
Depending on the ICPC request, I'm not familiar with if we need approval or not. If we don't need approval, then yes.
You think Danny's ready to move today?
I think so, yes.
Is this father also asking for placement of Serenity?
He has indicated to me that he would be willing to also take placement of Serenity.
And are you moving her today too?
No.
Just
We do
Danny
not have the DNA results yet.
for Serenity?
Correct, for the smallest child, yeah.
So you don't think a transition plan would be needed for Danny?
Yeah, we would transition her slowly if, depending on like what the court orders today, would it happen like immediate? We would definitely transition her slowly, but she would be transitioned by the time we came back to court.
Why would there be a transition if there's no risk?
Because she hasn't been to Florida in quite some time.
So that's a risk of harm. There either is a risk and she's in foster care that gets paid to keep her, or there is no risk and there's no payment to foster care and she goes home.
Well, he has completed his case service plan and I'm just waiting on the ICPC request.
So the risk of harm, there is a risk of harm that the ICPC comes back inappropriate, correct?
Correct.
And also that Danny just hasn't been prepared to go yet, right?
Yes, we haven't sent her down to Florida.
Have you prepared her with a counselor?
She does not have a counselor, but I have spoken to her on numerous occasions. She talks with her relative caregiver as well and Mr. Rowe.
Okay. Thank you. I have nothing further at this time.
Redirect, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Madrid, assuming Mr. Rowe is appropriate, and if he is willing to take both of the children that are both considered legally his right now, do we need to continue with the DNA investigation? Like, do you know what his
It was
position is?
ordered by the court to do the DNA test, so that's what I did. But I don't believe we would need it because he is legal father.
Well, what I'm asking is, do you know for sure whether or not he is willing to take both children?
He has indicated to me yes.
Thank you. Questions based on my questions?
Yes.
No.
All right, Ms. Heiss.
Has Serenity been prepared to move placements?
The conversation with her is a little bit more difficult, but she does know who Mr. Rowe is, calls him dad. But again, she just turned 2. So.
Right. You said that you're not planning to move Serenity though, are you?
Until we get the DNA test that was ordered by the court, we haven't made any moves like that, no.
Okay. I'm not sure we're talking about. That concludes my questions.
Did you have any additional questions, Ms. Hennigan?
No.
I'm assuming you don't.
I don't, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Anyone else you'd like us to hear from, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Witnesses today, Mr. McFarland.
I would like to call Ms. Rowe, Your Honor. Do you know when you might be released from jail? What's the status of your case?
I went to court yesterday and they said I can be released immediately to a rehab.
Okay.
And here I can't do nothing about it, so I'm just waiting for them to release me to a rehab.
Okay. Do you wish to go to a rehab?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and if that rehab affords you parenting time, would you like to have parenting time?
Yes, please. I already missed 3 visits from being in here.
If you're in rehab, will you do the other components of the case service plan also?
Yes.
Okay. If visits can only be by Zoom, would you still do visits if they were only by Zoom?
Anything to see my babies.
Okay. As far as the 2 children going with Mr. Rowe, what's your position on that?
I mean, I've always believed for kids to have their mother and their father. So I'm not denying it, but it's so far away. If something was to happen to my babies, there's nothing I could do. Nothing, I couldn't be there, nothing.
Is there anything else you need to say today?
And I also been dropping clean for my visits and everything. I came in here on a violation of probation.
What was the violation?
Because I got out on bond and they hit me with the retail fraud from when I got arrested, and they're looking into it because I didn't steal anything. So
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions. We'll see if anybody else has questions for you, okay?
thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Thomas?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Hennigan?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Heiss?
Just one. Ms. Rowe, did you get to your psychological evaluation on October 30th? You probably didn't.
No, I went and then the lady at the desk said that it was an Adrian and I had I contacted Francisca about it, and she made me a new appointment, but being incarcerated. But I mean, as soon as I'm released, I'm willing to go. I've been wanting to get it done.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Okay, Ms. Rowe, it's unclear to me here's what I have. You were incarcerated as of June 21st, 2023 as a result of a violation which consisted of positive drug tests. And then you were released at some point, is that right?
Yep, I was released, and then not even a week later, I went to report, and they arrested me on a warrant for retail fraud
When were you released?
on a Thursday.
Do you know if it was July, August? How many days were you out before you went back to jail?
It was October, and I was out not even a day away from a week. I went and reported on a Wednesday, and they arrested me when I went and reported. My probation officer didn't even want to arrest me, but it was too late to see a judge.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I understood what was happening. When is your next court date?
The 30th, but I am to be released immediately to a rehab if they can get me into one.
Thank you. Okay, any questions based on my questions, counselors?
No.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All
I
right,
have
let's
one.
have Ms. Thomas first.
Well, a couple. Ms. Rowe, so your testimony, you were released probably October 27th.
I think so, yeah.
And did you take any drug screens after you were released from jail?
Yes, I did. I took one.
And isn't it true it was positive for meth and cocaine?
Yes, but my probation officer was looking into it because I'm clean for, when I test for my visits, and then that one wasn't dirty. So we asked for it to be sent in.
When was the last time you tested for visits?
My last visit I had, I forgot what day it was on.
Was it a week ago? Was it 2 weeks ago? 3 months ago?
Like 2 weeks ago, not even.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Ms. Hennigan.
I had the same questions, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your testimony. Anyone else you'd like us to hear from?
No, thank you.
Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Hennigan? Any witnesses today?
Not for this portion, Your Honor.
Very good. Do we know what's happening with your client?
Yes, I sent him upstairs to get a notice of hearing for proofs for you. I sent him to the third floor clerk's office.
All right. Okay. Well, for purposes of the review then, comments, Ms. Thomas?
Yeah, and I'm actually at a loss of words right now about, I guess, a few things. I understand Ms. Heist's position that, the risk of harm to the two littles about going with Mr. Rowe at this time is sort of that psychological harm and being prepared mentally to go. But the testimony today has demonstrated that that Mr. Rowe is in compliance with his case service plan. And I'm not sure if there's no longer a risk of harm from that regard, if it's appropriate for us to continue asking for jurisdiction over him. But I think that we run into the same problem as the older children, that we don't have custody orders in this case, that releasing these fathers entirely from the cases sort of defer to our case as a custody order. And I'm not sure if that offers the most stability and permanency for these children. So with that, I will leave it to the court's discretion to order what we need, I guess. But I know that the intention of the last adjournment was to allow for Mr. Edwards to file that custody documentation. Given that he said he filed it, it seems that there's likely a notice of hearing. I'm going to request that maybe we again revisit that idea of a show cause, but I'm not going to move for that at this time. Thank you.
Comments, Mr. McFarland?
Well, Your Honor, my client is going to be entering into a inpatient rehab program. I would ask that the court not suspend her parenting time that whatever that program allows, as long as she's in compliance with the program, to have visits with her children, since there's not a request to terminate her parental rights at this hearing. And you've heard her opinion regarding the children going to Florida. Thank you.
Ms. Burke?
Yes, Judge. After we began our closing arguments, my client did message me that he would like to add something today to his testimony from last week. So if we could entertain that, I would really appreciate it.
I think that's appropriate. Mr. Rowe, can you hear us?
Did you hear the testimony of the caseworker and of Ms. Rowe today?
Yes, ma'am.
What would you like to add?
I would just like to add for the ICPC, I did some research on my own. I got a hold of the ladies, some of the workers down here that did the ICPC, and the reason that it's being held up is because I've had a court going on for almost 2 years, and my court date for down here is December 8th, and once they come up with the cost that I have to pay, then it'll be done. But they won't clarify, the ICPC won't deny it as long as, how do I put it? They won't grant me it unless the court is over with. So that's why the ICPC got denied the first time, is because I have a court going on. And so,
Okay.
and it'll be finalized in December. And December 8th is my court date, as when I get the restitution of how much I owe, and then it'll be done. But that's what the holdup is down here for my court. That's why they keep on pushing it. But I haven't contacted the lady's number for who does the ICPCs, and so I told her that before she pushes it through to deny it or whatever, if she could just wait until the court date was done, because otherwise I just keep denying it until the ICP court date was complete.
Okay, so is it your understanding that they want to approve it, so they're holding it until that criminal matter is resolved?
Yes, yeah, that's why it's taking so long. But I don't know if she hasn't received it yet though. But I told her when she does that's what she told me. She said that once it goes through, if your court is still going on, then they'll deny it. So I asked her, and she was looking into it, if they could just wait a couple weeks until the court finalizes it down here, and then it won't be denied. But it'll keep getting denied as long as I have a court date down here.
Right. Who hasn't received what?
They haven't. I guess so. I talked to the lady. They sent it, but they didn't get an email or anything. They were up. You guys up there were supposed to.
Time out. Who is they?
The caseworker up there.
So the Michigan caseworker has not sent something to the Florida caseworker?
Yeah, because I talked to her and she said that she hasn't even received it. It hasn't come down here or nothing. And she said to check the emails, to check the caseworker's emails to see.
So the Florida worker hasn't received the ICPC request from the Michigan worker?
No, not this time. They got the first one, but not the second one.
Okay. And have you filed anything to get private custody of your children?
I wasn't aware I could do that, but I can start getting on that as soon as possible.
Have you filed any documents in any other court?
No.
Okay. Have you filed for divorce?
Yep, that's done, but if she doesn't respond within the 20 days, which has been 22 days, so now I have to file another paper since she didn't respond.
Okay. And you have your children listed in that divorce, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I have no further questions. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Ms. Thomas?
I have no questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
Sir, when did you file for your complaint for divorce?
I filed my divorce, it had been the 1st of October. I served her on the 17th. She got served on the 17th of October.
For example, in Michigan, if you have minor children, it's usually 6 months. How long does it take in Florida to go through with
90 days.
90 days, okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're filing for default against her is what it sounds like, and you're asking for
Yes.
physical and legal custody of the 2 children?
Yes.
Okay, just so I know. And refresh my memory, what was the conviction that you have to pay restitution on?
It was criminal mischief.
What does that mean? What did you do?
I broke something, and so now I have to wait for them to get the price of it.
Well, what did you break and where?
It was a glass, piece of, like a window.
Was this in a domestic situation or what?
No, I was, intoxicated drinking, and I've already completed the classes for that for my probation down here. I've actually completed probation, it'll be done on November 12th.
Okay, do you have alcohol in your house right now, like beer?
No, sir. I report every week.
The relevance is he's convicted with the ICPC. We want to see how fit he is, and if he was involved in a crime with alcohol. I want to make sure the kids are going to be returned, but they're not going to be returned to a lifestyle with alcohol. So that's why I believe the relevance is right.
It is
I've-
relevant, I think, so I will overrule the objection for those reasons.
I think he has a favorable answer anyway. So your answer, sir?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. Do you have any alcohol in your house?
No, I report every week, and I don't have no alcohol. I don't drink. I've been drinking over a year and a half.
Good. And
I do drug screens every week.
okay. Is that a felony or a misdemeanor that you're on?
Misdemeanor.
And how much longer do you have to pay your probation off?
I'm prepared to pay it whenever. As soon as December's 8th comes, it's all getting paid.
Your probation was for how many months or how many years?
It was for 12 months.
And it began when, just to see?
Sometime November last year.
Okay.
November 12th is when it started.
Gotcha. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any questions of this witness, Ms.?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Rowe, you've been seeing Danny and you've been coming to Michigan to see the girls, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you participated in a DNA test for Serenity?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are the legal father because you're married to Serenity's mom, but are you wondering whether you're the biological father?
I did a home DNA test, so I know I'm not.
Okay.
But
So
I'm aware.
So if there, would you engage in some planning with this whole team, this whole case about whether Serenity goes with you or stays where she's at after the DNA test?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And then, do you think Danny's ready to come to you immediately?
She cries every time I drop her off. She doesn't want me to go.
Yeah, you guys are getting a very good relationship. She wants to go to you, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
See, and every time I call her, last time I was up there, she thought that I was coming to bring her back with us. And Debbie had to tell her it wasn't time.
Yeah, she's looking forward to Disneyland in Florida, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Okay, thank you for your testimony.
You have one question, Your Honor, based upon Ms. Berger's question.
He's gonna ask him all the questions.
That's true, she didn't. What's your question, Mr. McFarland?
Sir, well, your attorney asked you a question about Serenity. If she is not your biological child, do you still wish for her to come down as your legal father? I guess I'm confused about that.
What I was saying, if there's an option for her to come down here to be with her sister, so at least there's Danny and Serenity together, then that'd be fine by me. Like, I don't have a problem. She's getting to know me. I spend time with her. I buy her stuff. I take her out when I go up there. So I don't have a problem with it at all. It's up to whatever you guys really want to do.
Well, my question to you is, if she's not your biological child, Do you still wish to remain in her life as her legal father and for her to be your legal child? That's my question.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any other questions?
No.
Very good. Well, thank you, Mr. Rowe. That's very helpful to us to know your position.
Yep.
All right.
Yes,
Comments?
thank you very much. I would ask that, my client be terminated and in order for unification be entered today. There's no risk of harm, that is associated with his home or with his house. I don't think that we absolutely have to have an approved ICPC. He's been open and honest with us this entire time. He's been compliant with his probation officer, who has sent, very, very good reviews to the caseworker. He's completed his case plan service. He's gotten his home ready for his children. He's made the trip up here, driving several times to visit with them for extended periods of time. He does virtual visits. And he's getting specific permission from his probation officer to even leave the state to come and see them. So he's very committed. He's been very consistent. If there's no risk of harm, I don't see how we can continue to hold jurisdiction over him. He has filed for divorce in his current state, and hopefully that can come through as well. So at this point, I would ask for reunification to happen and that we begin that transition period as soon as possible. That way, maybe when there is a break or a larger time off of work or school or other activities, they can complete that transition period without disrupting too much of our everyday life.
Ms. Hennigan, comments, updates for you on your client?
Yes, Your Honor. In the interest of time, I have been able to gather some information with regard to my client's situation I'd like to share with the court. And then I would be hopeful that the court would give Mr. Edwards some direction on this matter and perhaps not will show cause on him. Mr. Edwards did file paperwork with a friend of the court. However, it apparently needed to be filed with the circuit court. It was set for hearing for December 26th in front of the court as an intake, and there was a misunderstanding there. So when he went down to speak with them, he came back to me and gave me an extension to call. I did speak with them. They verified that information. So they're canceling the hearing that is scheduled for December 26th and have directed that he will need assistance doing two things, for which I am hopeful that this court will direct him to seek out services from possibly Southeast Legal Services or something like that. One, for Jayla, there is or has been a case opened on her previously, and so either a $100 fee or a fee waiver for indigency could be submitted and file a referee petition for change of custody, and then FOC will get a new hearing set for him with regard to Jayla. Two, with regard to Jordan, there is no open case, never has been an open case, and therefore he will have to file a paternity action and establish custody simultaneously, and can use the paperwork that previously helped him to complete to take that action with the circuit court. But it's clear to me through our conversation today that I may not be able to assist him in that manner from my capacity in this case, and that he likely does need to seek some legal counsel to help him with that so that he can get it completed in a timely manner.
It's nice. I look forward to your thoughts.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Edwards has got an uphill battle because, you know, there was a case with Jordan and that other fellow was paying child support and he's the legal dad. And I do know it will get cleared up, but it is not an easy case. And Mr. Edwards is meeting the children's needs. That's we do need to know that their needs are being met, so that if we take the time that is needed to get this thing right, I think that would be appropriate. So those two children are in school here. They're doing well. With respect to the younger two, I really think we're not communicating well here today. I think that Mr. Rowe is intending to, if Serenity needs a home, but if we were to have a family meeting there, Serenity may be bonded and maybe better placed somewhere else if the DNA comes up differently. I don't think anyway, mother's visits were sporadic and where she missed visits and she wasn't screening and she's in jail, I would ask you to consider suspending those visits until she's released, so that we can, or at least when she gets into treatment, we can do a family team meeting, ask what the visit guidelines are, and petition the court to have that visit be supervised. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I could add just a small bit, just upon Mr. Rowe's testimony, since it was after my closing.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The only uncertainty and the risk of harm I see with Mr. Rowe is that he's had almost a year to pay restitution. He hasn't done that. And if it's not done, as he indicates it would be, he could be violated on probation.
Judge, I want to object. That's not what the testimony said. He has agreed to pay restitution and is paying it on the 8th. He doesn't have the number to pay. How can he pay it if he doesn't know how much it is?
That was my understanding as well, Mr. McFarland, but they haven't told him what the restitution is.
There's still a possibility that it may be more than he can afford, and probation can continue, and if it does, it could be violated. I know his behavior doesn't indicate that, but that's a risk. Plus, he still does not have a custody order until December, so I think that'd be the more appropriate time to look at finality. So that's our position on just that. Thanks.
Anyone else have any additional comments? Well, the court finds that all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's review hearing. The children have been out of the care of their mother, who had primary rights to them, as far as I understand, as of October 7th, 2022. She's been consistently, frankly, disengaged with services and unable to overcome the barriers for reunification. And I've heard that consistently from Ms. Madrid, including up through today, as far as the risk of harm associated with returning the children to her care. She has a long road ahead of her to establish sobriety, overcome her criminal charges, and educate herself and demonstrate that sobriety is a consistent pattern and be a healthy parent for her children. I do not find that there's any reasonable time frame, given the ages of these children, for that to be accomplished, and I would ask the department to consider filing a termination petition. I'm not going to order that, but I think that it could potentially answer some questions as to who would have rights to these children. I look forward to Mr. Rowe. If in the meantime, between now and when we come back, Mr. Rowe, if you end up with an order from Florida that gives you custody of these two children, please forward it as soon as possible to Ms. Madrid, and we will entertain that as a way to ensure that these two children are returned to you. I also don't see, I see your success, and I look forward to that. I would need to confirm, I think, Ms. Madrid, that the only reason that the initial ICPC was denied was on the basis of those outstanding criminal charges. So as you move into our next review period, I would say that if, in fact, that was the only reason that the ICPC was initially denied, that you should be returning this child to the care of her father. And frankly, both of the children to the care of this particular parent, who is still, for all intents and purposes here, their legal father. And if he's willing to take them and that allows them to be together, that would be appropriate. But I will ask you, before you make that decision, to have that family team meeting, as indicated by Ms. Heiss, that could be useful in order to answer both my concerns and the concerns that she raised in her comments. But if DR is ready to go and everyone is satisfied that that's in her best interest and she's ready for that, then I would look forward to that notice that she has been reunified with Dad. As it relates to the other two children, yes, it's a very complicated road ahead of Mr. Darnell Edwards. That's very clear. It's also come to our attention, Mr. Edwards, that as a result of rather recent changes and specific decisions that have been made by the Public Defender's Office, that Ms. Hennigan is no longer available to you and must be released from our court, because otherwise she would be operating for free, and I'm not going to require her to do that. So as a result of the delay, frankly, one of the additional consequences is that you no longer have access to Ms. Hennigan for purposes of assisting you. That leaves it to you to move in front of the court as articulated by Ms. Hennigan. So in other words, you do need to still ask front of the court for to revisit the custody arrangement on one of your children that you already have an arrangement on with Ms. Rowe, and then on the other child, file in circuit court. So I wish you the best of luck. Again, this is where in part, Ms. Thomas, I would ask you to consider a termination petition as it relates to Ms. Alexia Rose, so that in the event that she is released, that there would be no question as to whether or not she has any rights to these children under those custody agreements or arrangements. I don't think I can release either, well, especially the third child, JT, because she is still concerned under another case and would have the risk of being awarded to the care and custody of the previously determined legal father, Malcolm Tyndall, frankly, who obviously would not be interested in that. But you, other than the temporary orders that have been established by our court, Mr. Edwards, you have no legal right to that child. So by de facto, she will probably end up staying with you, especially if they move to terminate Ms. Alexia Rose parental rights. But as it relates to your ability to take her to the doctor, enroll her in school, or otherwise care for her as a legal parent, once this court's jurisdiction is terminated, so are your rights to do that. That may put us in a position where we have to look at adoption as currency for this child or some other method. It's an insanely legally complicated situation that we have, and it's frustrating that we haven't had any movement on your end to try to help resolve this, which does speak, frankly, to your parenting skills. All right. The children are going to remain placed where they are under the jurisdiction of the court. Under the remarks that I've made, the two of them will remain placed with Mr. Edwards. We'll look forward to potentially reuniting Mr. Rowe with the other two children in the next court period, and what, if any, action will be necessary with regard to Ms. Alexia Rowe, and look at the case again in January for our next review.
Just,
yes.
will your order specify that the department has the authority to reunify?
So what has to happen is if they're going to, I mean, I can put that in there, but I still need them to operate under the court rule that indicates that if they're returning a child to a parent, then they have to provide notice to all attorneys, and then the attorneys have 7 days to object to that. So for example, I wouldn't want Ms. Heiss left hanging, frankly, without an answer as to whether or not, for example, the older child, SR, is placed with in Florida. If she's sent to Florida and she doesn't agree with that, then she needs 7 days in order to make those objections now, right?
Perfect, thank you.
It's an insulation for both our caseworker, the department, as well as for the other parties, and especially for our LGAL, to have that notice ahead of that reunification, so that if there are any issues, that those can be heard before that. Perfect.
I didn't pick up if my client's parenting time is suspended or not.
I haven't made a ruling on that.
Okay.
She, by practical effect, has no parenting time as a result of her incarceration. If there is parenting time available to her at a rehabilitation facility, I will ask for a family team meeting to take place to determine whether or not, when, and how that's appropriate, and to inquire of a professional on that point, frankly. And of course, if there is a termination petition filed, that would be a situation where we'd have an automatic suspension of parenting time.
Your Honor, if I may, I just want to indicate that back in April or May, the ICPC denial for Mr. Rowe was submitted to this court, and it does indicate that it was based on the preliminary search of his criminal record at that time. But I want to also note that because the children are under the care and custody of the department, we are unable to move across state lines without the ICPC approval. So if we release the children from jurisdiction under a court custody case, that's different. But because they're under the department's care and custody, we cannot do that unless, I guess, it would be a directed placement, or we're not involved in this case.
My understanding is that a child may be placed with a parent out of state. I've seen it done in other cases, and if even in a situation where it was simply a putative father, not even a legal father, and that was Ohio, not Michigan, but maybe we need to review what the agency can and cannot do, because either that situation was incorrect or this one is. And I would like to know, frankly.
And I also don't know if it matters based on whether if the parent is a respondent or not. And I don't know, again, I'm not well versed in that, know that. But I just know that, until something else.
Well, I guess what I will ask then, in Ms. Madrid, this will be up to you. If it is your opinion, and Ms. Heiss concurs with your opinion, that it is in the best interest of both of these girls to go to Mr. Rowe in Florida, just bring me a petition, a motion, something that will allow you to legally make that happen. And if you're concerned about needing permission to do it, you know where to find me. Hopefully that helps. Any other questions?
None.
Okay, so I've scheduled our next review for Friday, February 2nd at 9 a.m. and I'm hoping you're all available.
Yes.
Okay.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
We have a 10 o'clock in another courtroom for a conflict case, but 9 a.m. is free.
Thank you for letting me know that. Is that up in circuit court?
Yes, Benton just got set today.
Okay, all right, thank you for letting me know. I'll make sure we don't double book that. That will be a permanency planning hearing in addition to a review. And unless there's any other questions, that's all.
Lawyer guardian ad litem.
Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department, Ms. Beach.
Ashley Beach, I'm the foster care supervisor on this case from Fostering Solutions.
Michael McFarland, representing Mother. Please introduce yourself.
Alexia Rowe.
Welcome. Mr. Howard.
I was able to meet with the child yesterday, actually, at his home. He's almost 2 months now, and also present were his placement, maternal grandma, and his half sister. The placement reports that he's doing really well. He's already out of preemie clothes and is gaining weight regularly and appropriately, so that's a good sign. The child is also growing teeth, which is a little abnormal. Like, he's already showing teeth for being 2 months old, which is a little abnormal, but I don't think there's any cause for concern there. The placement is able to ensure that he's getting to all doctor's appointments and everything's reported to go well at those. This placement is proven to be a good home, as they're currently working on adopting the child's sister, who was a little bit jealous of the new baby coming into the home. So I did meet with her too yesterday, heard that. But placement is reporting that mom's doing very well and that parenting time's going pretty good when they do occur. And I do believe that this placement is in the child's best interest at this point. And due to the child's age, he did not articulate his wishes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, testimony today, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, and I ask Ms. Beach to be sworn in.
Please come on up.
All right. Ms. Beach, how are you familiar with this matter?
I'm the foster care supervisor assigned to the case.
Okay. And as relates to the court report that was provided today, did you draft that?
I assisted the worker in drafting it and then also approved it.
Okay. And as relates to your familiarity with this case, what sorts of actions do you take as a supervisor that you are prepared to testify today?
Well, I attended the preliminary hearing on March 18th, and then I have also been in regular contact with the worker, Megan Latour, about the case happenings.
Okay. As relates to the putative father component of this, there is a proof of service that was circulated indicating that a DeJuan Harris was notified of today's hearing via text to a known number, and then John Madison was notified in person at the Lenawee County Jail. to the best of your knowledge, are there any other putative fathers that may have received notice of today's hearing or should have received notice of today's hearing?
No, not to my knowledge.
To the best of your knowledge, for as it relates to Mr. Madison, it was a request made to have him present for today's hearing.
Yes, I sent an email to Donald Powell on Monday asking for his assistance with securing his attendance from the jail.
Okay. And do you have any updates as to whether Mr. Madison just refused to participate today, or you're not sure?
We did receive an email response from the sergeant at the jail saying that it would be on the schedule, but I have not received any updates as of today as to why he's not here.
Okay. And has any DNA been ordered for the child and any of the named putative fathers?
After reviewing the court order from March 18th, it does appear that it was ordered. We just haven't made that referral yet, but we will as soon as possible for both putative fathers.
And have you or Ms. Latour, to the best of your knowledge, been able to speak with either one of them and have any knowledge of their intent to participate in DNA testing?
Yes, I was involved in the meeting that occurred via Zoom with Mr. Madison on Monday, and he seemed willing to participate. He does have pending criminal charges and has a hearing tomorrow morning, according to his report, so I'm not sure what the status of that is going to be, but we will keep checking in and still make that referral for him to be tested. And then Ms. Latour has had contact with DeJuan Harris via text, and she let him know that she would be making a DNA test referral, and he did not say either way if he would participate.
Thank you for that. And then as it relates to the court report, to the best of your knowledge, are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to it?
Yes, there are a couple. Ms. Rowe had a pretrial hearing yesterday in Judge Anzalone's court, and she has sentencing scheduled for May 16th. We were not aware of that until yesterday's hearing. And then I was able to make contact with her recovery court this morning, and it was reported that Ms. Rowe is compliant with all of the recovery court expectations and has been screening 3 times per week with negative results.
Thank you. And what is the current permanency goal for this child?
It's reunification.
And what are the current barriers to reunification?
The barriers would be Ms. Rowe's history of substance abuse and not participating in services until just recently, and then overall instability, which we've seen in a previous case. But she is working on maintaining her sobriety and getting back on her feet now.
And the case service plan that was attached to the court report today, do you happen to have a signed copy with you?
I do.
Okay. And has that been circulated to everyone?
Not to everyone, but I only have one copy of the signed copy.
Okay.
So however we want to distribute that is fine with me.
Okay. And but relating to the contents of that case service plan, do you believe that they adequately, the elements of it adequately address the barriers to reunification?
We do.
Okay. And has Ms. Rowe engaged in any voluntary services since the last time we were in court?
Yes, she has been engaging in an individual and group substance abuse treatment through Catholic Charities, which is a part of her recovery court programming as well. And then she's also been doing NA meetings and drug screens through recovery court.
And it sounds like you have all the necessary releases.
Yes, we do at this time.
Okay. And as it relates to parenting time, I know the report indicates the relative placement would has asked not to supervise parenting time. So what does parenting time look like for Miss Rowe?
For right now, we are doing 2 times per week supervised, either at our office or the library. And visits are going well right now. Ms. Rowe has only missed one, which was due to incarceration. She was arrested it was a period of less than 24 hours, but notified us upon her release that she was incarcerated, and then has been late to a couple of visits. But she has attended all other visits.
And is there a plan to increase that parenting time with her?
Yes, I don't think we have a specific plan in place right now, but we do plan to increase as she continues to show us that she's taking her treatment seriously and maintaining her sobriety.
And the child, is there any update that you'd like to give the court about the child?
Just that he's doing well since being released from the hospital and being placed in his relative caregiver placement. He was hospitalized for 3 to 4 weeks following his birth and was having some feeding issues in the hospital. But since he's been released, he seems to be doing well and growing appropriately and is eating well too.
Your court report also includes the ICWA inquiry document along with the certified receipt, not the return receipt, but the certified receipt to the BIA. Do you have any updates on that? Whether there was a green card returned or any communication from the BIA?
Not at this time, but we will maintain communication with DHS and keep checking my stack list before the next hearing and submit any other documents that we do have with the next report.
And at this time, do you believe that active efforts are being made towards the goal of reunification?
I think so.
Okay. What would you say are the direct and concerted efforts to assist this family in reunification that are, I guess, more than just reasonable?
Well, since Ms. Rowe has not been ordered into her case service plan yet, I think her being actively engaged in the substance abuse services that she's been engaged in so far is going above and beyond typical reasonable efforts. We've been maintaining regular contact with her service providers and recovery court and probation officers. We've been working around her schedule. We've had to reschedule a couple of parenting time visits just based on court hearings that she has or work schedule. And we've also provided transportation when she's needed it. She's been staying at the Catherine Cobb shelter, so she relies on either walking or others for rides. But at this point, I think those are more active efforts.
Is there anything else you'd like to report to the court today?
Not at this time.
Thank you. With that, Your Honor, I would ask the court to accept the court report. And actually, Your Honor, just Ms. Beach with her has the signed case service plan. The one that was attached to the court report was not signed by mother. So if the court would accept the signed one to include in the file.
Objections.
Okay, yep, I will do that. Deputy Ange, would you mind passing that from Ms. Beach over to me, please? I'm not quite tall enough, Judge.
Thank you.
All right, the record should reflect I have received the signed case service plan. Any other questions for this witness, Mr. McBrown?
I do. When did my client plead to in front of Judge Anzalone?
I actually did not finish watching that hearing yesterday, so I'm not sure.
Okay. My understanding, the case in which she was arrested for that one day, she's been placed on probation. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. Was the ICWA sent just to the DIA or to individual tribes also?
I would have to inquire with the CPS worker about that.
Okay. Do you know if my client's maternal grandmother was Because you mentioned this in court last time, whether the maternal grandmother, any inquiry was made as far as Native heritage, as we put that on the record to inquire of her. See that report.
The paternal grandmother or
Maternal.
maternal? I'm not seeing that either. So if that hasn't been done, we can meet with Ms. Rowe to get that information, to make that contact, to get some more information.
And on the ICWA inquiries, do you know if these were sent attention to the agents who have to receive these documents?
So when I had checked in my SACWIS last where these are uploaded, the only ones that had been uploaded were for the BIA. So I'm not sure that any have been sent to any specific tribes at this time.
Okay, thank you.
But I'll follow up on that.
I guess will you let us perhaps know prior to the next review about the status of Native heritage?
Yes.
Thank you. Where should my client's focus be right now? I know that the case service plan has a lot of components to it. Where should she be spending her time right now?
I would say continuing to do what's required for recovery court and really focusing on maintaining sobriety. And then the other components can follow after that.
As far as expansion of time, she's not having 3 2-hour visits per week, right? She's not having a total of 6 hours?
Not at this time.
What's the impediment to that right now?
Ms. Rowe has a lot on her plate scheduling wise, and I think it's been difficult to manage all of those pieces of court and recovery, court requirements, services, and her job. So we started slow to help her acclimate to juggling all these different things and making sure that she's doing it well. We are happy to increase when she feels comfortable and as things continue to progress.
Lastly, despite the fact that we have snow this morning, the weather will be improving. Is there a possibility that there could be outside visits for the children in maybe a more natural setting than just a library or closed room?
Yes, we would definitely love to get them outside as much as possible for visits so we can look at parks and things like that.
Nothing further, thank you.
Questions, Mr. Howard?
No, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. We return to your seat. Any other witnesses today, Ms. Thomas?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Mr. Cornack is present in the courtroom, and I'm just wondering if he can provide us with any ICWA updates.
Come on up to our witness stand, Mr. Cornack.
Mr. Cornack, you've heard the questions about the ICWA inquiries. Do you have any updates from your time as the CPS investigator?
I do. I met with Gloria Elliott on April 1st, I believe. That's the maternal grandmother. She said that it was Mayan and Aztec Indian, which to my understanding is they're not federally recognized tribes in America. So we sent out the green card to the BIA, or the green card came back from the BIA, and that's the last we heard of that. As far as for the other green card that we sent out for the father, we received a response. I'm not sure when we got the response back, but that said there was insufficient evidence of Native American heritage, and he did not, I believe he did not know which tribe he was involved with.
Okay, and you said for the father, from the record, there are 2 putative named fathers. Which putative father are you referring to?
Mr. Harris.
Okay.
Wayne Harris.
All right, thank you. And then the documents that you have, were you able to give those to the foster care worker or upload them into my SACWIS?
I believe I emailed them to the foster care worker yesterday. And yourself.
Okay. All righty. Thank you. I have no further questions of Mr. Cornack.
Questions, Mr. McFarland?
No, I'm satisfied.
Mr. Howard?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Cornack, I can tell you what the court has received is a single inquiry sent, it appears to have been sent March 6th to the BIA. It does indicate some information about the potential father, Mr. Harris, but I only have one inquiry, and I think I heard you testify that there are two, is that right?
Yeah, for Alexia, I may have been mistaken and not sent those to the court.
One of these was received March 18th, and it's a copy of what I have in court file,
Okay.
with the exception of the fact that it actually also has that green card attached. But would you take a look at this and let me know if that's what you think is the entirety of the search, or if there's more than that?
I believe that's the entirety of the search with Mr. Harris.
So is there another search separate for the mother?
Yeah, after the last hearing, or at the last hearing, I was directed then to do a search with Miss Rowe. And Miss Rowe said that her mother would have the most information, and that's who I talked to.
So there's another inquiry out there with a lot more of the maternal side.
Yes,
Okay, so that's the one that I need then.
yes.
Okay. And you said you also got a letter? Did you get a letter back?
For Mr. Harris. I sent that over to yesterday. So I guess it didn't make its way here, which I apologize.
That's okay, I'm just trying to keep track of what I need to ask for next time.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions based on my questions?
No.
Thank you for your testimony, may I return to your seat?
Thank you.
Anyone else you'd like to hear from, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, and I just want to note for the record that Mr. Cornack did send that documentation to my office and Ms. Latour, but it was received just yesterday, and so I believe that's why it was not included in the report. And then obviously to attempt to keep the record as organized as possible, we will include those for our next review hearing.
Thank you. So I'm going to be looking for the letter, as well as the inquiry for the mother that contains the information on her family, that certified receipt, and any green card. All right. That's what we say, Mr. McFarland?
No, thank you.
Mr. Howard?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we have a gentleman who's logged in here under Bleezy. Would you like to give us your name for the record?
Yeah, my name is Dwayne Harris.
Okay, how do you spell your name, sir?
Dawann.
Great, okay. So that's, thank you for giving us that. That I can also verify on record that the inquiry does contain the correct spelling of your name, which is great news. And I believe you're one of the people that has been asked to take a DNA test with regard to this child. Are you willing or able or interested in doing that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So if I can ask you to stay on the line a little bit after we're done with today's proceedings, so we can make sure Ms. Beach has all of your information to coordinate that. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
Very good. All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to raise today, Mr. Harris?
No, I think every baseman covered pretty much.
All right. Very well then. Ms. Thomas, comments in closing.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, we are just asking the court to adopt the case service plan that Ms. Rowe has signed. It's really nice to hear that she's continuing to participate in recovery court and really following that program And we are looking forward to the progress and increasing some parenting time with her in hopes of reunification. And so we just asked for a 90-day review. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
My thoughts mirror exactly the feelings expressed by the attorney for the agency, so very hopeful.
Mr. Howard?
Yes, I'm happy to hear the great start that Ms. Rose made and looking forward to hearing about the progress. I would have no objections to increase hearings as the department sees fit. I trust them to handle it, and I just want to avoid a situation where Ms. Rose has too much on her plate. So I think if the agency and Ms. Rose are working that together, I would be okay with that. Thank you.
Good. All right, the court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's hearing. The case services plan does appear to target the areas Ms. Rowe needs to work on in order to remedy the risk of harm associated with returning her child to her care at this time. And although she is getting started on some of those services, there remain many areas, including housing and sustained period of sobriety, being the largest ones that she'll need to be working on in the next report period, and she knows that. So she's gonna, I'm sure, be updating our caseworker on that as we go along. The reasonable efforts towards the goal of reunification are being made by Fostering Solutions. That will include many of those referrals that were being put into place according to the court report, as well as that DNA testing to determine the potential legal father for this child, to find any potential additional resources there. Awaiting the results of the Native American heritage inquiry, I do find that the efforts that are being made do constitute active efforts as well. Those additional services, those pieces where you're reaching out to Ms. Rowe and helping with managing many of the services rather than just leaving them for her to figure out, is one of the simplest ways to demonstrate active efforts versus simply reasonable efforts. So thank you to our Fostering Solutions caseworkers for doing that, and we'll look forward to further updates on that during the next report period. Mr. Howard is also in satisfaction of his obligations regarding that item, and thank you to our attorney advocates as well. We'll have a 90-day review period, and I will also adjourn the putative father aspect of today's hearing to allow Mr. Harris to accomplish that DNA testing, as well as the other potential putative father, and we'll look for updates on those pieces as well at our next review hearing. Which will be in June. Okay, so Monday, June 30th at 1:30 p.m. will be our next review. And I'll have this order ready for you in a few minutes if you'd like to wait. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today. For a review, second review and a permanency planning hearing. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Carson Howitt, lawyer guardian ad litem.
Stasia Thomas, counsel for the department.
Magdalene Tour, foster care worker.
Mr. McFarland, representing mother, please introduce yourself.
Alexia Rowe, mother.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Howitt, ready when you are with your report.
Yes, Your Honor. I was able to meet with the child at his placement on August 11th, 2025. He's doing really well there, and just based on appearance and, you know, his looks, he looks like to be a very large baby. So I'd love to know where he kind of stacks up on weight with some of his peers. But it's really great to see him looking so healthy. You know, he had a long road ahead of him when he was born, and he's just made so much progress in such a short time, and meeting all of his milestones. I think I saw him lift his head, starting to sit up, and they called it scooting. So I didn't observe it, but you know, just reports from the caregiver. He's also in a placement with his sister, who's a bit older and kind of on the verge of getting adopted by this caregiver, but they've been able to, you know, spend this time together. And even though he's so young, it's nice to always see siblings placed together. During this reporting period, I did attend a team decision-making meeting with mom to evaluate her progress. And I just want to say she's doing really well and making a ton of progress. So we're all involved with the case, really happy with how she's doing, and really commend her for her progress, and she should definitely be proud of it. But with that being said, some of the history and some of the comments that were included in the psychological evaluation with this family, just kind of, it might take a little bit longer just to prove the stability, but based on how she's doing now, I have no doubts that she'll be able to continue this. Just something to monitor as we move forward throughout this case. But for right now, the child is in a placement that serves his best interests. He's very well taken care of, evidenced by meeting his developmental milestones and continuing to make progress on those. And, again, he gets to share this placement with his sister. So, thank you.
Thank you. Witness testimony today, Ms. Thomas.
Sorry about that, Your Honor. I did not realize that my camera was not on. Yes, Your Honor, if Ms. Latour can please be sworn in.
Swear, come on, for witness stand.
All right. Hello, Megan. For today's hearing, you provided a court report packet. Are there any other documents outside of the packet that you've circulated to the court or to the parties?
No, I have not.
Okay. And are there any updates or modifications that you're aware of that need to be made to any of the documents included in the packet?
The only update is that I have a home visit scheduled with Ms. Rowe for this coming Monday to assess her new place of residence.
And at this time, are there any barriers to reunification with Ms. Rowe?
Just seeing her continued stability due to the previous history that we're all aware of, and seeing that she's able to maintain that long term would be the only barrier that I can see at this moment in time.
And at this time, your report indicates that in the attached documents indicate that she is actively engaged in substance abuse counseling with Catholic Charities, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And she's also engaged in participating actively in sobriety court?
She is.
And to the best of your knowledge, she's in compliance with all of the program requirements?
Yes, it's been reported by Ms. Rowe herself, and then when I've been able to talk on the phone with the case manager, reported that she's progressing well. She's following the program the way that she's supposed to, and all of her screenings have been negative.
And she's maintained employment through this review period?
Yes, she continues to be employed at Super 8, and it's been reported by her that she's very much enjoying her employment there. I'm happy to see that she's maintained that.
I know this information's in your report, but can you briefly highlight what the parenting time schedule is like for the child and Miss Rowe at this time?
Yes, so right now Miss Rowe has 2 days a week supervised by the agency and Orchard Supportive Visitation Services, and she receives an hour and a half both days. It was discussed during the TDM about requesting from the court the ability to have the discretion for supervised, unsupervised visitations because of her follow through with her case service plan.
Wonderful. And so during the parenting time that is supervised, have you had any concerns about any of her behaviors or ability to parent a young child?
I have not seen any concerns. I haven't read any concerns. She behaves very appropriately with the child. Just only thing that's ever been noted is that she needs to just get a little bit more confident in her parenting skills, which I think will happen over the course of the Orchards program.
Okay. And then I know that we're also here on a putative father component of this hearing. And it looks like DNA has been completed with one individual who is not biologically related to this child. And then there was another individual who did not attend the scheduled DNA testing. Is that correct? Did I read that correctly?
Correct.
Okay. And then there's two other individuals since that Ms. Rowe has indicated could potentially be the father.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And at this time, what do you need in an order from the court?
We just need for the court to order that those two individuals participate in a DNA referral, as I will not be able to make the referral until then.
Who specifically?
Manuel, I can't remember his last name.
Bowman.
Manuel Bowman and Robert Allen.
Thank you.
Do you still need the third individual who has not participated to be identified on that order as well?
The previous court order states that he's been ordered into complying with a DNA referral.
Okay, just double checking. Sorry, and I lost my place on that issue on the report. Okay. Is there anything from your court report that you'd like to highlight? I mean, everything seems to be going really well. Seems that we're really just looking for long-term stability and compliance, which Ms. Rose demonstrating a willingness to do. So is there anything else you'd like the court to know at this time?
Just that she's been doing fantastic. She's participating in 2 different parenting education classes, one through the Orchard Supportive Visitation, and then she's been complying with the Care Pregnancy Center parenting education classes as well, and that she's maintained the employment and found housing for herself in this past month, which she is living at with her mother, her significant other.
Great, thank you. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Sator and would ask the court to accept the court report.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you. They are received. Questions, Mr. McFarland?
Yes. What precisely is the barrier for my client to having unsupervised parenting time at this point?
The previous court order stated that it was to only be supervised.
If it were not for that court order, do you think she's ready for unsupervised?
I do.
Are you asking this court to lift that barrier so she can lift that barrier?
Yes, I am.
And then what would that transition look like as far as to unsupervised? And the time frame, if you could.
Yes, so we would want to start out with, just because we're working with Alexia to get a little bit more confidence in her parenting, we would start off with like semi-supervised in the Fostering Solutions office, by having her have her visit at the office but not have anybody directly supervising it, having somebody be in the building with her if she needed help. We'd probably look for that for probably about 3 to 4 weeks to see how her comfort level improves, and then move to allowing her to have completely unsupervised visitation a couple days a week.
And then what would be a time frame for overnights?
So overnights, I would need to assess the 2 individuals that are living with Miss Rowe before I would be able to confidently say that overnights would be appropriate.
Understood. And will that assessment be occurring now if the court allows what you've described?
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Howitt?
Yes, just briefly, Ms. Latour, can you just describe some of the, maybe, I noticed in the court report, and maybe one of my sole concerns is the visits missed. It looks like she missed 4 visits in July and then 3 in August. I guess what's going on and why is she missing those visits?
So Miss Rowe, in August, when she started her parenting education with Care Pregnancy Center, it was at the same time as the original day of one of her visits. So it was in conflict, and while we tried our best to reschedule those or extend her other parenting times, just some of the visits were not able to be made up in full on another day. In July, there was a couple of days that she reported being sick or just not confirming her visit in an appropriate time manner. And just due to the visitation policy, it was an automatic cancellation for 2 of those.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Has the psychological evaluation been provided to Ms. Rowe's counselor?
Yes.
Great. All right. Do we know if those issues raised and the recommendations are being addressed?
They are.
Very good. Does she have an individual parenting coach or any individualized parent education happening or referrals for that?
So that is happening through Orchards. It's her and just Javante. She's getting the parent education as well as the supervised visitations.
If you could also supply or at least review the psychological evaluation with that provider, that would be great.
Perfect.
And that's mainly because of the red flags raised on the child abuse potential inventory. Okay. All right. Any questions based on my questions or anything else for Ms. Latour before we let her return to her seat?
No, thank you.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Okay. Any other witnesses, Ms. Thomas?
Not at this time, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
Let me inquire of my client if she would like to testify. Would you like to testify today?
She said no.
Thank you. Then none, Your Honor.
Well, Mr. Howard, anyone you'd like us to hear from?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. I look forward to your comments in closing, beginning with Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, I feel like today's a good day. We have 2 parents in a row doing what's asked of them and expected of them in order for them to become the best parents possible for their children. You know that we're pretty early on in this case. I think it's been 6 months since removal, and we have a pretty long history here. I will say that in the last 6 months, though, this is the most progress and sustained progress we've seen from Miss Rowe. And it's really encouraging. And so I'd like to commend her on that. Your Honor, we would ask the court to allow for the agency to have that discretion to transition into unsupervised parenting time. It sounds like Ms. Latour has a really good plan on how to get that accomplished, and I trust her to also complete any background work that needs to be done for unsupervised parenting time within the home that Ms. Rowe is currently living in. And Your Honor, we would again just ask the court to order that the agency be allowed or permitted to do DNA testing with Mr. Robert Allen and Mr. Manuel Bowman. And we'll try to get that scheduled as soon as possible. I think it would be also prudent just to set this for another putative father hearing at our next juncture. And I think that I would be asking for publication service, just so we can kind of get that going, even if we're not able to get DNA scheduled or if they're not reachable, we at least have that notice to them. And if they don't appear, then they forfeit a future notice. With that though, Your Honor, I have nothing else. I think that the goal for reunification is appropriate. And we'll see where we are in another 90 days. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McFarland?
Your Honor, Ms. Rowe has made my job easy today, and that she's proceeding nicely on her case service plan, and I can't do any better than to mimic the request of the attorney for the agency, asking for permission to expand into unsupervised parenting time, and looks as though it's been really thought out as to what that's going to look like. So I think we're where we need to be, quite frankly. Thank you.
Mr. Howitt?
Yes, Your Honor, just as the other attorneys have stated today and Ms. Latour, I think this goal is appropriate and moving towards unsupervised visitation, and the plan that seems to be in place seems, appropriate as well. And just continued progress and stability for Ms. Rowe is what we'll be looking for over the next 90 days. Thank you.
Great, thank you. The court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's review hearing. I commend Ms. Rowe for compliance with case services as well as for obligations through sobriety court. But more importantly, the investment in those services and the progress that our service providers are documenting and making. So congratulations. Thank you. I'm going to grant a request to allow the department to expand to unsupervised parenting time in this case. It was, of course, endorsed by our guardian ad litem, who's clearly in compliance with his obligations, as is our caseworker. And the order will reflect that. We're going to need a nice long period of sustained success in sobriety by Ms. Rowe, and I think she's aware of that both in our court as well as the sobriety court, in order to ensure that she's able to provide a safe, stable home free of issues that have been historically characterized by substances and some of the associated dangers that were already identified in previous hearings. So the main thing for Ms. Rowe is to stay the course in the next review period and to show us that she's able to handle that unsupervised parenting time, continue gaining her skill sets and being successful with case services. We'll have our next review and permanency planning hearing on Monday, December 15th at 2:00. It's clear the goal of reunification is appropriate. That will certainly remain in place. And the order will also reflect any other rulings or findings that the court may need to ensure continued supervision of this child. He'll remain in the placement where he's at currently. That is safest and least restrictive under the circumstances. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today. I'll see you Monday, December 15th at 2:00, and I'll have the order for you in just a few minutes. Fourth review, there's also would appear the outstanding issue of putative father or putative parentage on the father's side of things. So I look forward to updates on all those after appearances.
Yes, Carson Howard, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Ms. Sasha Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Latour?
Magdalene Tour, foster care worker.
Michael McFarland, representing mother.
Alexia Rowe, mother.
All right, Mr. Howard.
Yes, I was able to meet with Miss.
We are on YouTube,
Yes.
so we'll avoid names if we can.
Yeah, I was able to meet with the minor child on Zoom on December 8th, 2025. We had plans for an in-person visit, but he was recovering from croup, I believe, which was pretty contagious, and I think he got it from his older sister. And I just didn't want to contribute to passing that along. He did have to go to the ER to treat this. They have a treatment that he received, and he gets observed for a few hours afterwards to ensure his throat doesn't swell up. But right now he's doing pretty well and just had a bad cough. I observed him just even in the Zoom meeting, some milestones like babbling. Heard him say dad to male caregiver, and saw him pointing. Placement stated he really enjoys playing patty cake as well, so he's also doing those kind of things and engaging with the placement. He's not crawling just yet, which is okay. And early on is there monitoring a potential issue with his feet. Maybe something that he just grows out of, but I know early on is on top of it. The placement doesn't seem too worried. I hope it's just something that he's gonna outgrow. Overall, he continues to just be a very good baby. I saw a huge smile from him. He eats a lot and he enjoys a sweet potato puree. He isn't moving to solids yet just because he only has a couple teeth, so not a great chewer. But overall, I think it's in his best interest to remain in the placement. They're able to provide him with stability and care. And it is a loving home, and his half sister who really loves him is there too. Recently adopted by this placement. This gives the mother ample time to continue to work through her case services plan and create a stable home environment for the child to return to if that were were to happen. And then obviously the child did not share his wishes due to his age. Thank you.
Thank you. Testimony today, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Honor. I would ask Ms. Latour to be sworn in to provide her report.
Nana?
Thank you. Ms. Latour, for today's hearing, you provided a court packet with a few attachments. Are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to your, like the report you wrote or any of the documents that you've included?
I still have not received the final update regarding Miss Rowe's positive drug screen, as that had gotten sent for further testing at her request. Her individual counselor confirmed that she had received the psychological evaluation that was sent, and then I still have not been able to locate any of the putative fathers that had been named, despite sending messages over Facebook, which is how Ms. Rowe had indicated that she was communicating with them, and I have not seen any of them on any of the other Vine Lake or Lenawee County courts.
I'm just gonna back up real quick. So let's start with the putative father portion. Your report indicates that you've reached out to a few or to all of the named individuals that Ms. Rowe has provided to you. Did you happen to give them a copy of like a notice of hearing indicating that there was a putative father hearing today by any chance?
I did not. When I first reached out, none of them responded. And then despite trying to make contact multiple times throughout this reporting period, none of them indicated that they had received any of the messages.
Okay. And then for the update on mom's positive drug screen, can you just clarify that or confirm that that screen was given to mom through her participation in the sobriety court?
Yes, that was through sobriety court. Her probation officer had reached out to me last week, letting me know that there had been a positive screen on the 2nd of this month, and that Ms. Rowe was denying use and requested further testing for it.
Okay. The updates from Catholic Charities, they're really more of like an attendance record, I would say. Do they offer, have you asked if they can provide an update related to goals and that, and whether they have reviewed that psychological with Ms. Rowe?
Yes, I can get a more thorough report from her individual counselor. This is what I provided as an update is what they sent me, which is her monthly reports.
During this review period, it looks, during this review period, there were a couple of times that Ms. Rowe canceled parenting time because of a toothache. Do you know if she's been able to go to the dentist to get that taken care of?
Yes, to my knowledge, she's went and gotten that taken care of and has not had any complaints since.
Wonderful. And is she still actively engaged in the Orchard's support visitation program?
Yes, she is.
Great. Do you know if there's any update as relates to her employment?
Yes, she let me know that she had gotten her previous job back at Sunoco. And from the looks of it, she's there full time. She provided a copy of her schedule to me over the weekend.
Great. And housing is still appropriate at this time?
Yes, it is still appropriate.
And parenting time, it seems like that's going well, that there are no noted concerns. Is there anything else that you'd like the court to know about your observations of parenting time or plans moving forward?
We did increase, recently, I want to say it was last month, we had increased to 3 days a week. We have started to allow visits to occur in her home to allow for a more natural setting. We've kept, one visit per week in the office, just as we are keeping an eye out on any potential risk or any potential concerns that may be had. It is semi-supervised while it is in office, to allow her a little bit more time with the child and to allow for a more natural setting than having someone watch the entire visit.
Based on mom's progress and benefit from her case service plan, what are the barriers to reunification at this time?
At this time, it is that positive screen. There's concern there. We have some concern with the financial situation due to one of the individuals that was living in the home no longer living there, and there being no way of knowing if he will return or not. So it is just the financial stability and then that positive screen.
Okay. So ensuring consistent prolonged stability and sobriety sound like the main barriers that you're to say? Okay. Are there any elements on Ms. Rowe's case service plan that would need to be addressed during this review period?
I do not think that any one area needs to be specifically addressed.
Okay, so maintaining her engagement with, I guess, all the services in her case service plan?
Yes.
Okay. And for the child, can you just provide us a little update on how the kiddo's doing, and if there's any concerns about his ability to transition to and from parenting time?
The last time that I seen him, he was a bright, happy child. He's always smiling while I'm there. So he loves to be held. He loves to bounce. While I was there last month, the caregiver and me, we were kind of working with him on starting to crawl. We were helping him get his knees underneath him and trying to promote that. But they are consistently aware of what his needs are. They are always providing any medical appointments needed. They're on top of his health, and they are very active in the early on when they are there.
Does mom get an opportunity to engage with early on?
We are working on setting up a time for her to be a part of those.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like the court to know today?
No.
Thank you. With that, Your Honor, no further questions of Ms. Latour, and ask the court to accept the court report and its documents.
No objection.
No objections.
Thank you. They're received. Mr. McFarland, questions?
My understanding, my client is living in a house with her mother, correct?
Correct.
Her mother has her own source of income disability, and my client has full-time employment right now, correct?
To my knowledge, yes. I have not received any verifications of her mother's employment or disability due to her not being a case planning participant.
So you haven't asked?
I have not, no.
You haven't inquired what the total income of the household is?
Not recently.
And how do you have concerns that my client might not be able to afford it if you haven't asked these questions?
There was a brief moment when she had no employment, and that was, sorry, I lost my train of thought. That was, after I had received notice of her employment. So I did not know until this weekend that she was working full-time. I have not received a pay stub since she just started this new employment. So I am not aware of her hourly wage.
You know who's on the lease?
To my knowledge, when I had inquired, her and her mother were not on the lease yet.
So you need a copy of the lease, correct? Yes. Do you want verification from mother if she'll provide it of the income that's coming into this household?
If she is willing, yes.
My client indicates that she was able to get money from another nonprofit for the drug testing, and that's already out, I guess, as of today. Is that your understanding?
When I spoke with her probation officer earlier today, she had not received any notification that it had come back, so I was unaware of that.
I don't mean that's come back. I mean that my client had paid today for the test, had nonprofits donate the money for the testing today. Are you aware of that?
I was not aware of that.
Okay, I'll have her testify. Thanks. If the test comes back negative, which she anticipates it will, what's the pathway for her to have unsupervised parenting time?
Yeah, if it does come back, I have no problem transitioning to having at least one of her visits be fully unsupervised. We have just been taking an abundance of caution due to her previous history, and we're taking it slowly out of caution for the child.
And I don't see that during any of her parenting time, there's any concern with her being high under any substances, correct?
Correct.
Sounds as though she's focusing where she needs to focus right now, if I understood your testimony?
Yes.
I have nothing further, thank you.
Mr. Howard, any questions?
Yes. Did Ms. Rowe provide an explanation for the, I guess, lack of engagement in the Care Pregnancy Center training?
She was struggling to find transportation with it getting colder out. And due to having the orchards in place and also the Care Pregnancy Center, I had told her that until she could find proper transportation, that she could continue with the orchards that was in her home.
Is there any specific updates from the Care Pregnancy Center about how she was doing, or just attendance records?
It was just the attendance records. When I had requested, they had told me that there was no change in her participation level or during the sessions from when I had last inquired. So there was no specific updates.
And transportation still remains to be an issue?
Yeah, she has told me that she has a car that she is waiting on her uncle to finish fixing up.
And then with any of the supervised visitation, whether from orchards or from yourself, you haven't observed any concerns or issues?
I have not observed any issues.
Nothing further.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you for your
I have
testimony.
one question.
Go ahead.
My client informs me that she advised you that her drug classes drug court classes are on Thursdays, same as her pregnancy agency classes, and you've excused her from the pregnancy agency classes while she was going to drug court. Is that correct?
To my knowledge, the care pregnancy lessons were after the court. So to my knowledge, she was attending the ones that she was able to.
Okay, thank you. Nothing.
You may return to your seat. Thank you.
Any other testimony today? Witnesses, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. McFarland?
My client, Your Honor.
Ms. Rowe, come on up to our witness stand.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let me finish. Raise your hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Just stand here, be careful.
Why don't we go in reverse order? What was the conversation you had with your worker regarding your drug courts on Thursdays and your other class?
Okay, so every other Thursday I have a one-on-one with my therapist. So that would go over to the time of the Care Pregnancy Center. So I reached out and asked if, because transportation, back and forth from after, doing my Catholic Charities session, and then an hour later, have to go back for my one-on-one, and then it'll be like an hour later, I have to do my Care Pregnancy Center. So the transportation was an issue then, but I asked if I'm doing the orchards, if I still had to do the parenting class for CPC. So I was under the impression that I didn't have to do the CPC and just stick with the orchards. And that's what I've been doing.
She told you that specifically? Is that what I understand?
That's what I was under the impression of when I asked.
Under the impression of what do you mean by that? Just
that I didn't have to do the Care Pregnancy Center if I was doing orchards. That I can stick with the orchards.
I believe that's what she told you.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. What's your transportation situation now? It's changed, right?
Yes. So, I don't have a car that I own, but I do have a friend that when she is at work, she lets me use her vehicle. That's how I've been getting to work, and that's how I've been doing my visits for the last couple weeks. And it's been working out perfect.
So would you be able to do both classes now on Thursdays or not with that car?
Yeah.
If they would like you to do that, could you start that up?
Yes.
Okay. I think you tell me, when did that, who paid for the independent drug test on that positive result, and when was that paid?
So I reached out to Rachel, which she is in with Catholic Charities, and at the day of the testing, it was Tuesday, and I told her that it tested positive for cocaine and that they wanted $60 to send it out. I wasn't working at the time. I just started this Sunday. Well, this last Sunday, so it's been a week I've been working. And I explained to them that I don't have $60 to send it out to the lab. So she reached out to Teresa, she works with my probation officer. And she got back with me and told me that they would take care of it and get it sent out. So over the weekend when I went and dropped again, every other drop's been negative. Before that, they all been negative. So I asked them if it's been sent out, and they don't do it over the weekends. They don't send out to the lab over the weekends. So today when I went and dropped, because I had to sign and date it. So when I had
Did the probation officer send it out today?
at the drop place, they're sending it out in the mail today, but they couldn't send it out without me signing and seeing them package it up. So when I had asked if it was sent out yet, and they told me that they was waiting for the lab results. So I had asked the drop place, how was it sent out if I didn't sign and see it packaged up? Because they got to show you proof that they packaged it and sealed it. So I did that over the weekend, and they just sent it out today.
Who is doing the testing for you?
I don't know the name. It's like the drug and alcohol drop place across from Frosty Boy.
Okay. And did your worker or anybody from her agency ask to do a testing of their own to see how you were?
No, but I'll greatly do it.
What's your income situation like right now?
So I get $13 an hour. I am working 30 hours a week. I'll get my first check this Friday because you gotta wait 2 weeks to get your first check. So last Friday I didn't get mine, so this Friday I'll get my first check.
And will you be sending a copy, just taking a photo of that on your phone and sending over to your worker?
Yes.
Okay. Anything you need help with on this case? Sounds as though you're probably, presuming you're okay with starting unsupervised visits, provided that test comes back negative, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When did your worker know the very same day you tested positive? False positive. Did your worker know that very same day?
Well, I reached out to Rachel at Catholic Charities, and then because I know it's not positive, because I
just listen to my question. My question is the day that you tested positive, did you know that very same day that they believed that you tested positive?
Yeah, because they all communicate with each other.
Got you. And then did you call anybody? Did you call your worker and let her know on that day?
I didn't.
Okay. Did you do any type of test yourself or not?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Anything else that you wish to add today?
No.
Okay, and is your email still the same as, well, I know your email on the air, but is your email still the same?
Yes.
Okay, I have nothing further.
Any questions, Mr. Howitt?
Yes. What led you to change employment?
So I was in an accident with my niece, and the doctors took me off for 3 days, and then because my ribs were really bruised, and the job I was doing, it took, like, I was a housekeeper, so I had to make beds and clean and stuff. So after the 3 days, I went back to work, and I was working, and it got worse. So I went back. They took me off for a couple more days. Well, with the doctor's note, the manager fired me still.
How long did it take you to come back to the new place of employment?
Not even a month.
Ms. Latour had some maybe potential concerns of your housing situation, and maybe somebody was on the lease that left the home. Can you just elaborate on that situation?
Yeah, so the person that was living with us, that was on the lease, I filled out an application for me and my mom to get added to the lease, and he was supposed to take it to the landlord. And when he said he was gonna go pay the rent and come back, he has still to this day has not been back. But my mom had reached out to the landlord and told them that we do have the rent money for this month. And they explained to us that we wasn't on the lease. So when they get back from vacation, they're supposed to be, coming by to get the application from me and my mom and go from there.
And what was the relationship of this guy? Was it just a friend?
Well, it was a boyfriend, but I knew it wasn't going any further when he left, so.
And prior to him leaving, what was the arrangement for paying for rent?
So when we moved in, he said that he would take care of the rent, 'cause he does lawn care and he did the lawn for that landlord. So he said he was gonna take care of the rent, and then me and my mom take care of the bills and the food.
And how much is rent?
$900.
And do you have a ballpark of how much your mom brings home? And
So she gets disability and SSI, so she brings home about almost 800.
okay. So you guys are pretty confident you'll be able to make it work there financially. What was the form of the drug test that you tested positive on? Was it a urine test or was it saliva?
It was urine.
And was the one that you retested, was it the same?
Every test from there has been negative.
Oh, no, was it the same form that you retested on and had sent off to the lab? And was it a urine test again?
Yeah, it's the same. They keep it in the cup in the fridge.
Okay.
And sends it out.
So it's the same sample as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing further.
Any reason, well, Ms. Thomas, do you have any questions?
I don't, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay.
Nothing further.
Thank you for your testimony. We return to your seat.
I have nobody further.
No witnesses.
Ms. Rowe, what's your date of sobriety?
12/21/25.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, 2/21/25.
Nervous.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other witnesses?
I have none.
No, Your Honor.
All right, comments in closing?
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, we would ask the court to maintain the goal of reunification. I don't think it's appropriate at this time to really go forward with any goal requests or putting efforts towards the concurrent goal of adoption. I think this review period, there were some situations in which might need ongoing monitoring to ensure stability, but it seems that Ms. Rowe is really doing what she can to be compliant with sobriety court and with her case service plan. It's great that she took the initiative to also ensure that the positive screen is being retested, and didn't simply just say, oh, I don't have the money and so I'm not gonna, I'm SOL. She really advocated for herself, and that's a really nice thing to see. I think that moving towards unsupervised parenting time is also appropriate, and so we just ask the court to allow the agency to have the discretion to do so. And other than that, we would just ask for another 90-day review. Thank you.
Comments, Mr. McFarland?
Well, it looks as though my client is marching forward with her case service plan, and when the results come back, we anticipate them to be negative, as she's not had any indication of being under the influence since her visits during this period. We're looking forward to some unsupervised, transitioning into some unsupervised parenting. Thank you.
Mr. Howell?
Yeah, I think we know that the child is going to be well taken care of in this placement, and allow for Ms. Rowe to, work through some of these issues and complete some of the tasks in our case service plan. And I'm impressed with how she's navigating some of these issues. She lost her job and was able to find employment pretty quickly after. Housing will be a big, are they able to support that? It sounds like they have a plan to make that work. Pay the rent, stay on that lease, which it sounds like an appropriate house at this time. And I think the big thing for myself and, the best interest of the child moving forward is whether this can be a stable arrangement to potentially transition the child back to with Ms. Rowan, which is well aware of her history. I'll be looking for a long period of stability where she can prove to us that she's got it all taken care of, and she's doing a great job so far of navigating those little hiccups as well. So, and I would support the agency having discretion, and if she is able to re-engage with Care Pregnancy Center, the more services, the better for her. So, thank you.
Okay. The court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's review hearing. I too want to recognize the progress and stability that Ms. Rowe is making. It's great to see. But I agree with Mr. Howitt. It's going to be, and I'm sure Sherry knows this, we're going to need to see a long period of stability in order to make sure that we can safely return the child to her care. She's overcoming many of the routine challenges, albeit under the dual jurisdiction of our court as well as sobriety court at this time. So we'll look for her to continue demonstrating that stability. I will grant requests to allow the department to expand to unsupervised visits. The only thing I didn't see in here that maybe I might want a little more information about the next review period is progress on the recommendations in the psychological evaluation specifically. So maybe just digging in a little bit deeper, information on medication reviews with a potentially a psychiatric review as well. There's a recommendation for some group therapy, but I'm glad to see that she's engaged in some individual therapy. That's certainly great news. Okay, today was also the putative father hearing. I hear you, on what's happening with them. Encourage you to look at, potentially just, publication at this point. It doesn't sound like they want to hear from you anymore, and I don't think you need to go through that. You don't want to. But anyway, yeah, so the child will still remain in his current placement. That is the safest and least restrictive under the circumstances. DHS has the discretion to expand into unsupervised period of time. In recognition of Ms. Rowe's continued progress, and it does not appear any risk associated with unsupervised parenting time at this point. Your church services reports appear to see Ms. Rowe appearing on time, properly prepared, and making it when she can. So that's great. And we'll do our next review on March. March 10th at 9:30. So March 10th at 9:30 will be review and permanency planning. And I'll have the court order out in a few minutes, unless there's any other questions. That's all for today.
Illinois County Jail Officer Adams, how can I help you?
Hi, this is Judge Anzalone. So you have Alexia Rowe and James Hall?
It would appear so.
Well, I would like to see them when you get an opportunity.
Okay, I will let them know. Forewarning, Mr. Hall is in one of our observation rooms in a smock, so it may take them a minute to get him out.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I'm using my Zoom. It's weird things. All right, so grab your file. This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Alexia and Javon Rowe, file number 25-22136FH. So, Ms. Rowe, we are here yet for a warrant that was signed yesterday, which alleges that you have committed the technical probation violation and that you were placed on probation in order not to use or possess any controlled substances. You tested positive for cocaine on March 23rd of 2026. A confirmation was sent out and then received on April 1 of 2026. So, Ms. Rowe, you do have a right to have an attorney represent you here today or in any subsequent hearings. If you can't afford to hire one, we can appoint one at public expense. And I do have Ms. Underwood here in the event you would like court-appointed counsel. So, Ms. Rowe, would you like a court-appointed attorney?
Yes.
Now, Ms. Underwood, I am going to appoint you to represent her. I do want you to know this is not her first violation for testing positive for cocaine. She is a member of a recovery court. How many violations have we had for testing positive for cocaine or any illegal controlled substances, Ms. Teskey?
Twice, Your Honor, prior to this.
Okay, so, all right, I'm going to open up a breakout room and place you both in it to give you an opportunity to speak. And there we go. Mr. Mawad. Go ahead, Ms. Underwood.
Yeah,
join that break. All right, so hold on one second. Mr. Shadler, or Mr. Lacoste, can you approach? I'm sorry. Nobody's appeared for that settlement conference, which means probably settled and they just didn't tell us. All right, Ms. Underwood, let me bring your client back.
Judge, can I ask a question? What is the status? It's not about this case.
Oh, okay.
It's just in general. What is a status conference? Like, I got a status conference on a notice on a guy that I had wrote a PSI on in the past, and I don't know what I should be doing with it.
I don't know. So
Okay.
why don't we wait?
I'll bring it over and ask.
Yeah, and then we can look up the court notes to find out why. Okay. So we are back on the row or on the record with Miss Rowe. Miss Underwood, have you had an opportunity to have a discussion with Miss Rowe?
I have, Your Honor.
All right. And how do you wish to proceed today with Miss Rowe?
Ms. Rowe, I wish to enter a not guilty plea on Ms. Rowe's behalf. Your Honor, she went and swabbed at CPS immediately after Sarah told her she was dirty, and that came up clean. So we have some real questions.
So, Ms. Underwood, what I will advise you is that the tests that CPS use are not the same tests that we use. So their levels are much lower. So I don't care if she tested Ms. Rowe, I'm talking. I don't care if she tested at 3 other places. Our tests are the only ones that matter. And
well, but
so,
I know they aren't always real accurate, Your Honor. And I know
they're less accurate.
Mr. Post swabs are the gold standard. So what I would ask, Your Honor, is that Ms. Rowe is working. I would ask that she be given a PR bond, this set for hearing, and she tests daily with swabs from Mr. Post.
Okay, so, all right, so I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty. Ms. Adams, could I have the book, please?
Yeah.
Who would you have as witnesses, Ms. Underwood?
I want to look at the results, and I want to see who will have.
Okay, you do understand that this test
I may
was
have
sent
CPS. I may have.
Ms. Underwood, you do understand that this test was sent off to a lab. It's not just the test that was done at the courthouse. This test was sent to a lab. Ms. Rowe, put your hand down. And so that would be the gold standard for the lab test. All right. And this is her 3rd violation. So I don't know that I'm going to consider a PR bond at this point.
It's not.
So, how much time do you need to get those people available, Ms. Underwood?
Not long, Your Honor. It doesn't sound like the court's, never mind.
I can set this for 11 o'clock on Wednesday, April 15. That would be next Wednesday. Obviously, I don't want to delay it more than what you need to accommodate your witnesses.
Well, Ms. Rowe, do you want to have another breakout?
You know, Ms. Underwood, can I put you in a breakout room with Ms. Teskey? Perhaps Ms. Teskey could give you a little bit more information.
No, I want another breakout.
Okay, I will give you another breakout room with Ms. Underwood, but Ms. Underwood, would you like a breakout room? Ms. Rowe, hold on a minute.
You're going to give me a chance to talk.
All right, so first of all, your attorney advised you were entering a plea of not guilty, which means I'm not going to let you say anything that could be used against you. I was asking first if Ms. Teskey and Ms. Underwood would like a breakout room, because that way Ms. Underwood has a clearer understanding of the background and the determination of the recovery court and the discussion. So that way your attorney is fully knowledgeable about some of the allegations in this. So, and then I will give Ms. Underwood a breakout room with you, of course. But Ms. Underwood, would you like an opportunity to speak with Ms. Teskey? All right, so Ms. Rowe, I'm going to put Ms. Underwood and Ms. Teskey into a breakout room. Hold on. And then when they come back, I will put you guys into a breakout room. All right, anybody here for NPI debt fund? Okay, all right, so this is in the matter of NPI debt fund. Let me grab the file. This is in the matter of NPI debt fund 2 LP versus Addison Development Phase 1 LLC, Suburban Propane LP, Michael W. Botsky, David C. Urton, Beauregard Harvey, and Daniel B. Peterson, and David C. Urton as defendants, counter complainants, cross plaintiffs versus Addison Development Phase 1 LLC, file number 23-7032CH. Now I have hiccups. So do I have Stephen Jacobs present?
Yes, good morning.
Okay, P68749. Mr. Harvey is present, and Mr. Harvey, I do understand you're an attorney in another state, just not Michigan. And then John Lovinger.
Morning, Your Honor.
P41585, and then I have Craig Eoff out of Ohio, 71002, Prohoc Vici, and they are attorneys for the defendants, counter plaintiffs, cross plaintiffs, and Mr. Lovinger is counsel for Mr. Botsky. So, and Mr. Jacobs for the plaintiff. So we are here today on a final settlement conference. Again, so we've adjourned that, I think, a little bit. So, did the parties engage in facilitation? Mr. Jacobs, I'll just start with you.
Certainly, Your Honor. The parties did not do, they never did formal facilitation. There was a period of time when we did have it scheduled, but then a bankruptcy had been filed.
Okay. That
kind of derailed it. We were going to use, I had used them before in another matter in your court. Phil, I think it's
Bill Godfrey? No.
No, it's oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now. Schaefer.
Philip Shadler, and he recently passed away.
He did? I didn't know that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we were going to use Mr. Shadler, but so unfortunately, no, we hadn't. During this time period, we have attempted to hold informal settlement communications between the parties. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to come to any type of resolution. We thought we maybe had some different avenues, but unfortunately, nothing's really come to fruition.
Okay. So at this point, obviously, I don't want to get into what any of those negotiations were. Do the parties want an opportunity to facilitate on your client's behalf?
I would not be opposed to still attempting facilitation, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Lovinger and Mr. Eoff?
I have no objection to that.
I certainly have no objection to that.
Folks to speak up, please.
Okay, so Mr. Lovinger, could you state that louder?
Yeah, I have no objection.
And Mr. Eoff?
Yeah, I have no objections to that.
Okay, and Mr. Harvey?
Judge, I have no objection either to facilitation. I do think I need to amend pleadings, but I have no objection.
Okay. Okay, so this is a 23 file. This is an older file, obviously. So I don't want to delay too long, but any objection, Mr. Jacobs, to any amendment of pleadings as stated by Mr. Harvey?
Your Honor, I would like to be able to see what the proposed pleadings would be. I know I'm not trying to make more work for everybody, but this is an older case, and based upon some of my communications with Mr. Harvey, I do have some concerns that maybe some of the claims wouldn't maybe be appropriate in this action. So I would prefer to be able to see that actual proposed pleading before agreeing to something of that nature.
All right, Mr. Jacobs, would you like to weigh in?
Your Honor,
I'm sorry, Mr. Lovinger.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's been a lot of representations made verbally that haven't been followed up. Right from the get-go, there were representations that there was going to be a very strong defense raised by Addison Development. Hasn't happened. Similarly, Mr. B, he's coming in. He's going to come in guns a-blazing. No appearance even. And one of the things he likes to talk to us about is that he hasn't been served. Well, he's here today. So I think he's aware of what's going on.
Okay. And Mr.
Thank you, Your Honor. I mean, my view on it is that much similar to Mr. Jacobs, I don't know that any of those amended pleadings would have claims against my people. I don't know, but obviously I would like the opportunity to see them. And if I think they need to be attacked, I would attack them appropriately under Michigan law.
Yeah, and, you know, obviously we get pleadings all the time, striking. All right, so, right, so it looks like for the most part, everybody's filed. All right, so I will allow Mr. Harvey to amend his pleadings, but obviously all counsel have the right to object to any of the amendments. I'm going to order facilitation. Again, it was a loss for our community when Mr. Shadler passed away. I do not choose facilitators, so anyone that you use for facilitation would be at your own choosing. And let's say facilitation must occur by July 31. And that would give you probably to June 1 to amend your pleadings. Well, no, it's fine. April, May, June 1.
Hey, Judge.
Oh. So then we need a settlement conference in front of Judge Olsaver. Okay. So we call Judge Olsaver's office.
Hello?
Hey, is Frances over there by any chance?
She is over here.
Can you tell her I need a settlement conference date from her?
Okay, no problem. I will let her know.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Just a minute. All right, so a settlement conference date would probably be in August, September with Judge Olsaver. So I could do, I could have a trial starting October 6th, 7-8, that area.
It's fine for my calendar, Your Honor. I don't know about the others, but.
Your Honor, that's fine for my calendar as well.
That works for me too. Thank you.
There's no objection. Your Honor, if I may, I would also like, should we get a dispositive motion cutoff date?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so trial start at 9 a.m. Tuesday, 10:30, they'll be out. On Wednesday, they're at 10:30 because I have a criminal docket. And then Thursdays at 9 a.m. We do break for lunch from 12 to 1:30 because the union, they kind of like put their breaks together with their lunch. So we did that and we go to 4:30. So, and then dispositive motion deadline, you want that before facilitation. Okay, Miss Underwood, you've had a chance to meet with Miss Teskey. You've had a chance to meet with your client. Is there any other information you need from me? Miss Teskey?
Your Honor, of course, for our hearing, you know, we're going to need a copy of those test results. It may be a case like the one I had a few weeks ago where they were so low that the, you know, I don't know, I haven't seen them. But Miss, you know, I would again request that Ms. Rowe be allowed a PR bond at this time, Your Honor, so she can go to work, and she's willing to come swab, like I said, every day, and then we can have this matter adjudicated, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Teskey?
I'm right here, Judge.
Okay, so Miss Teskey, with Miss Rowe and daily testing, how would she be going to the facility?
Your Honor, they don't offer daily testing. And Darren Coase can't daily test either because he doesn't work on the weekends.
Well, I assume she could go to the center on weekends, Your Honor.
I'm not sure what the purpose of daily testing would be. She says that our tests are junk.
Your Honor, we know that the court has great confidence in Mr. Coast's swabs.
I do, but Mr. Coast's job, okay, so Ms. Rowe, all right. So Ms. Adams, if I want to set a mock trial out a week from today, do we have anything available next Friday? And Ms. Teskey, would that be enough time for you to get the individual from the facility to testify?
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Adams, is there anything next Friday? I don't know. I gave the book back to you. I'm sorry.
Judge, so you have 4 sentencings, 1 settlement conference, and then a 2-hour evidentiary at 10 and a 2-hour evidentiary at 1:30.
So we could set this for, you said a 2-hour evidentiary hearing at 10?
Yes.
And I only have 1 settlement conference at 9?
Correct.
And Ms. Underwood, how many sentencings do you have next Friday? I know that you're typically fairly busy.
Hang on, Your Honor. I only have 1, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm gonna set.
I have, it looks like 1, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm gonna set this for 9 a.m. on April 17. Miss Teskey, are you available?
I am, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm gonna set a violation of probation trial for April 17 at 9 a.m. Do you want to be, and I'll have her brought over, or if she's still in custody. So it'll be in person, not Zoom. Ms. Rowe, I'm gonna release you on a PR bond. But understand, no matter how cocaine enters your body, that's willingly consumed. So I don't care how it's happening and what your excuse might have been in the past, but understand that you risk losing recovery for your child. You risk so much. I am going to order that she test daily at the center. And
they're not open daily, Your Honor.
It's not?
No, they're not open. They only open when they have testing, which is like 3 times a week.
All right. So I want you to test at the center when it's open, and Mr. Coast on the days it's not. So you'll have to come to the courthouse and reach out to Mr. Coast. And then Monday morning, right at 8 o'clock, I want you to come to the courthouse and test. All right? Okay. And just remember, Ms. Rowe, you got a lot on the line right here. All right, so I'll give her a PR bond and I'll see you back on this case on April 17 at 9 a.m. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And let me, there may be some delays on Mr. Hall. So will you let them know, Ms. Rowe, I'm ready for Mr. Hall if they are available with him?
Your Honor, can I take care of an MDOC I have down here?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Underwood.
Thank you.
You said Mr. Hall? Mr. Hall, yep. Okay.